Hello there, Brendan Wrongway Corrigan with you again for another installment of the Colombia Cast, coming to you from the Semana magazine studios in Bogota. Today I'm delighted to say that we have a woman of the moment with us, singer Katie James. Her new single, and I've messed this up, Toitico bien Empacao.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, it has almost, you just have to tell me, okay, there's almost 235,000 YouTube plays, but on Facebook, 2.6 million shares and likes and what? Like, I mean, amazing. Now, not only that, but in this city the last month, because it was uploaded on YouTube, your new single, last month, I've been in my barrios populares, which I like, places that normally they don't know too many things, we'll say, about Ireland or whatever, but they know I'm from Ireland, and they go, "Oh, you're from Ireland, we've just heard about Katie James and her new single and her new song." It's caught the imagination of Colombia, it seems. Where did the inspiration for this song? And tell us a bit about it, because obviously there's people who can listen to the song, but it's in Spanish, so English speakers may not understand exactly. So what's it all about?
Okay, well, hello everyone, first of all.
Hello there.
Okay, well, I've lived in Colombia most of my life. I arrived here when I was just 2 years old. And the first half of my life I lived in the countryside, like a really remote area on a farm, no electricity, growing our own food, really living like our neighbors and the peasants lived. So afterwards, when I moved to Bogota, which was over 10 years ago, like I noticed how contrasting these two lifestyles are, and how like separate people from the cities have become from people in the countryside, and how they don't know much about their grandparents or their ancestors, or they don't know where the food comes from or how it's grown. And I mean, the actual sentence that I'd say gave birth to this song was, I was talking to an Italian friend and he was asking me about Colombia, and I said, it's interesting that a lot of people from Bogota don't recognize a coffee plant. And when I said that, we looked at each other and he said, you have to make a song about that because it's so symbolic. It means so much, because Colombia, well, is one of the main coffee producers in the world. And it's true that a lot of people in Bogota and the main cities would not recognize a coffee plant.
Yeah, exactly. Now, it should be the national symbol. I'm not sure if it is, though. I think actually the national symbol is that palm tree, what you call it, the famous palm tree in the Eje Cafetero. But yeah, it's true. They wouldn't recognise it, and that distance. So this song basically. All right.
So the song, right? To tell,
yeah, it's the title, by the way, that I mess up all the time. It's what does that mean in English?
All right, Toitico bien Empacao. I mean, it's those things that you can't really translate, but it would mean something like everything is perfectly packed up, or in a package. Okay. In a package, something.
That's
like
how
that.
it arrives. That's how it grows on the tree, and it arrives in our shop.
In a packet, yeah.
So people think
the song. I mean, it's a humorous song, and it's all done through food. Yes. So I'm saying like, so how was your coffee this morning, and how was your arepas? It's like this lots of typical Colombian foods, and the ajiaco, which is a typical Colombian soup. Are you enjoying your breakfast? And then I say, excuse me to interrupt you, but do you actually know where this comes from, or do you know about the molienda, which is where they mill the cane, or is sugar just a bag that comes in the store? And then the chorus says, and tell me, what do you know about your land? What do you know about your grandmother? What do you know about maize? I mean, maize is one of the main indigenous foods. Or have you forgotten your roots? It really doesn't translate well into English. It sounds kind of a bit banal. But it also, like the words that I've chosen in Spanish and the way that I'm speaking is a very like country way of speaking. So I don't know, people have just really identified.
Yeah, and I think that you've hit the nail on the head in that it's a country way of speaking. And the barrios that I love so much in this city is where you will get a lot of the country folk, or those who are, a lot of their work is related to the land. They're selling fruit and veg on the street or whatever. So I think it's obviously touched with those people. But because I work in an office where we'll say there are more middle class, gomello-y type people, and they haven't heard of it because it probably for them it doesn't maybe resonate with them.
But I mean, on the other hand, because quite a lot of people from the cities and upper classes have heard it, and they get this kind of nostalgia, and some of them are like, oh my God, yeah, what do I know about my grandmother? What do I know about my land? So, like, without really planning it, I seem to have touched got to the
extremes, we'll say. Yeah, it's a good point. Now, we are, of course, going to hear it. You've brought your guitar with you, an unplugged version, which will be the first time on the Colombia Cast. I'm looking forward to that. I should have learned the words and we could have a duet.
Yeah, you could sing along with me.
Yeah, I'll get the last bit or something. Okay, I'm going to start learning. No, but to come back to this idea of the countryside and reconnecting with it, I'm a campesino. From Ireland, from the countryside. But of course, in Ireland as well, it's not like, in my particular case anyway, we had beef cattle, but we didn't grow our own corn or potatoes normally because, my dad had another job that was much more profitable. So we just had the cattle that was a little bit of an extra income or whatever. But when I was in rural parts here, and you had this upbringing, I take it, that it was a self-sustainable farm and you got everything from it.
Yeah, pretty much. We never reached like 100%.
Okay.
But most of the food that we ate was grown on our farm, all organically. And what we did was like mix the crops that my mum already knew about. My mum's English, by the way.
Yeah.
So obviously carrots and tomatoes and whatever, onions and
standard stuff
beetroot.
From home.
Stuff that. And then we learned all about these other Colombian crops that, I mean, some of them don't even reach the cities within Colombia, because I don't know, they don't have a perfect shape or whatever. Yeah, like I talk about the jota in the song. It's like this kind of potatoey type of food. There's another thing that's bore. And anyway, we learned to grow all these crops. We learned from our neighbors, from the peasants that lived in that area, and they were really proud to show us. And the other interesting thing is that these crops usually grow like with no compost, and you definitely don't need to fumigate them or any pesticides or anything because it's their natural environment.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're going to grow tomatoes, you have to, I mean, sometimes we would just give up because, I mean, we grow everything organically and there's just too many pests.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they'd be and would you even need
we had a greenhouse at some point. Yeah. We did,
okay. How long, by the way, did you spend growing up there on that farm? Like up until you were 16, 17? Or?
15.
15?
Yeah, 15 in the countryside. And then first I moved to Popayán. Popayán is a small town in the south of Colombia.
Lovely town. My first ever city to
Seriously?
visit. Yeah,
oh,
in this
country.
Ecuador. Yeah, I came in from Ecuador and stopped in Popayán. The White City, isn't that?
The White City, La Ciudad Blanca, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful place.
It is. Yep. So Popayán is, it's like a small town. So I see it as like my stepping stone between the countryside and Bogota. I lived there for about 5 years. But the farm was nearer to Popayán, so I was able to go there, say, at least once a month. Because I think if I had come like directly from the jungle to Bogota, I might have just gone totally mad.
Yeah, culture shock, completely. Exactly,
yeah. Because it's so different.
So far removed. And that's the thing. I mean, again, I'll mention it in nearly every podcast, but I'm in this full-time job now. I don't get to travel as much as I did when I was freelancing. And it's kind of, Bogota obviously is Colombia, but for me, that rural Colombia is what it's all about as well. I like to get out and see that, and I do miss it. Tell us about, though, your singing career. So, like, how did you get into that? Is that what you studied? Is that what you pursued?
Yeah, but I've pretty much been doing music all my life, really. I mean, I used to sing since I was a really young girl. When I was 9, I started playing violin. My mum plays a bit of violin. Yeah. I don't play violin anymore, by the way. Don't get me to play an Irish jig or anything here.
I just brought my violin in today.
No way. Then when I was 13, I wrote my first song. And that's when I also decided to learn to play guitar, because I wanted to have an instrument that I could accompany my songs with. And I mean, really, since then, I haven't stopped. I've continued composing. Then when I lived in Popayán, I studied like a bit of classical guitar in the conservatoire there. And then I actually did a full music degree here in Bogota in the Universidad Inca de Colombia.
Okay.
So that was like a 5-year degree. And then, I mean, with music, you never finish learning, as it were.
Of course.
Yeah. So after that, I went traveling around South America for about a year, also learning about South American music. I went to Ecuador, to Peru, and to Chile. I wanted to learn a bit more about the folk music, and I think usually the best way is just to go there and really meet the musicians and play with them.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I learned about, say, rhythms that I had never even heard of here in Colombia. For example, al basso in Ecuador. You never hear about it here. No. It's a bit like, say, in Europe, because I was there recently. If you talk about South American music or Latin American music, usually people think, oh yeah, salsa. Then maybe
I was going to say J Balvin these days.
Oh yeah, okay.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, if you talk about Argentina specifically, they might say tango. And if you talk about Colombia, most people would say vallenato or cumbia, or some people just wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
But nobody would ever say bambuco. Yeah?
No.
So this song that I wrote that's gone viral is in a rhythm called bambuco. This is a rhythm from the Andean zone of Colombia.
Okay.
And I just find it interesting to like explore these other rhythms that are not so popular or not so well known abroad, and they're absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, what's the one from the Llanos here?
It's just, they call it música llanera, or
joropo, or is
joropo.
that
Sorry,
joropo?
that's,
Joropo.
yeah. Joropo is incredible.
Yeah.
Rhythmically, it's incredible.
Because the one thing that stood out for me when I was there a couple of years ago at a festival in Tame in Arauca, the harp, the use of the harp, which to me the harp is very Irish because it's part of the Irish symbol. It's one of the Irish symbols of the government, but it's actually part of this culture as well.
Very much so, yeah. And obviously the style is totally different. Now in the joropo, it's like really speedy, strong. Yeah. Very energetic music.
Yeah, yeah. In the Irish style, it's a little bit softer.
Yeah, more that.
Yeah. So you were saying you travelled around and getting paid gigs and all that kind of stuff when you travelled.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did everything. To be honest, I did everything from busking to playing in amazing, huge theatres and being on TV and magazines and everything. Like, I went. With my ex-boyfriend, who's also a musician, and we just wanted to explore and also to share my music, and we hardly had any contact. So we would just arrive in a city and ask people, okay, where do they do live music? And usually one show would lead to another and another and another. And we planned only to spend a few months away, and we ended up spending a whole year because it went so well. It was amazing.
Okay. Because obviously Louisa told us about the journey across, which,
she was 6.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I envy her because she has memories of all that journey, which was amazing. It was a whole year traveling to get to Colombia.
Yeah.
No, I was still like in my nappies.
Of course.
So yeah, my first memories are already on the farm, which was in Tolima, here in Colombia. And then I did go back to Ireland a few times. And obviously there has been an influence, for example, in music. In my family, they were always playing Irish music. My dad is the Irish one. He didn't live with us much at all. But the short times he spent with us, he used to play Irish tunes. And I think I inherited a lot of my Irish... my musical genes from my dad.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the Irish are so musical, aren't they?
Oh, that's it. At the drop of a hat, we can sing a song.
Go on, Brendan. Sing us a song.
Well, later, when this isn't recording. No, it's true. So, by the way, those 14 months you were in Europe, were you touring as well, or what was the plan?
I mean, I went over because one of my sisters lives in Edinburgh, the middle sister between Louise and myself. And I hadn't seen her for 3 years. I wanted to meet up with her and her 2 sons. And then I just also wanted to get to know Europe a bit more. And I was invited to a guitar festival in Italy. Nice. And then I have an Italian friend who happened to be there at the time, and he got me 10 more shows. And it kind of all just happened. I mean, and
then a domino effect. One thing,
one thing leads to another. Yeah. Then in Holland, I was invited to. I don't know if you've heard of Sofa Sounds. It's this kind of independent music organization where they do concerts all over the world.
If it doesn't have J Balvin in it, I don't know.
Oh, come on, Brendan. Anyway, I'm sure that some of you that are listening to us out there have heard of Sofa Sounds. So, and then in Edinburgh, I mean, the music scene in Edinburgh, like in Ireland, is amazing. There's just music everywhere all the time. So I ended up performing there quite a lot. And contrary to what I expected, I ended up singing a lot more South American music than music in English. Because when I planned to go over there, I thought, okay, I need to, write more songs in English or learn more songs in English. But everyone was like, no, sing us your Colombian songs and sing us. Yeah, they just found it fascinating.
Right, okay.
And so for me, it was really interesting. I ended up learning more South American songs to sing for them over there.
Right.
It's kind of ironic.
Yeah, interesting. But, so if you were 14 months in Europe, when did you record the song that's now...
Oh, right. Okay.
There's a story here.
There's a story here. Within those 14 months, I actually came back to Colombia twice.
Okay.
Which shows that my link to Colombia is very strong. And so the song, I wrote it actually before moving to Edinburgh, so it was about a year and a half ago, but I hadn't recorded it. Then on my last visit to Colombia, which was only 3 months ago, I was on my farm and a friend came to visit me. I sang him the song and he said, oh, come on, let's just record a simple video with the green in the background and this is where you wrote it, and it just felt right.
It is an excellent video. Simple work.
But it's a video done with my phone and I don't even have the fanciest phone.
Okay, well, a bit like mine probably, yeah. Okay.
And I have a simple microphone that I use to record it. And the idea initially was just to use that for Facebook and then later on record a professional version to put up on YouTube. But as soon as I posted it, it just went viral. Yeah. Immediately, within a few hours, it already had over 100,000 views, and I mean.
Well, as I said, I'm sure people are going to be checking it out who haven't seen it yet. But it's easy. Just search Katie James on YouTube, and you'll see. And it's just a very simple video.
It's very simple. I think it's more what I'm saying. The fact that it's this rhythm that's a Colombian rhythm, and then also I have to accept the fact that I'm foreign and playing a Colombian rhythm, so Colombians are like, oh. Yeah,
well, of course, yeah, they love to hear that kind of stuff, which is great. Yeah. And they may not. Well, now they're going to know your background as well. That you're 98% Colombian. That's exactly. Something like that. So, what are the plans? You came back 2 weeks ago?
Even less 9 days ago. To be precise.
Here, you came to visit. I appreciate this. It's great. As I said, we should have had the red carpet rolled out.
Stop it.
You're blushing now. You're blushing. But so what are the plans? I guess it's been kind of all go. You were on Radio Nacional yesterday. I saw. So you've been doing a lot of stuff since you've.
I've literally had interviews every single day since I got here. It's been one of the most intense weeks in that sense of my life. And
goes with the territory, of course, though. You gotta get the promotion out there. Yeah.
So I came here because of what happened with this song, because my plans were to stay in Edinburgh for another year or so, but it just became obvious very quickly that I needed to be here in Colombia. And so I'm organizing a tour. I don't have exact dates yet, but I will be announcing them on all my social media. So, but there'll definitely be a few shows here in Bogota, in Cali, in Medellin.
So the idea would be keep an eye on your social Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places.
I'm not great at Twitter yet, but definitely
I think
Facebook.
Twitter's more for the politicians.
Exactly. Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook, I think, are Instagram probably the one anyway that everyone's using to get the message out there. Yeah. No, so we can look forward to some concerts then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Actually, tomorrow I'm going on the. Oh no, sorry, we can't talk about dates here, can we?
Well, not yes, really. No, because this will be next week. Yeah. Okay, but in the future, I said we will check that out. But you are going. Oh, by the way, I did want to ask about radio plays. Does that now in today? I remember in the past hearing artists singing it was hard, up and coming artists to try and get radio plays, and that was kind of seen as another measure of success. Is that as important these days with YouTube and with all the other mechanisms to listen to songs? Okay,
I think it is important, but not as important. Precisely because it's not the only way that people can listen to music. But, for example, on Radio Nacional, they already said, as soon as you have your studio version, which I recorded a couple of days ago, they said, bring it here, and they're going to play it on radio. So obviously, it's not a song that's going to be played on the main radio stations in Colombia because of the genre of the song, but definitely it's going to be played in a lot of the more I don't know what the word is.
Well, alternative, I guess. I'm just trying to think. The home for it, because there's a couple that play a lot of vallenato, but that probably wouldn't fit in there, would it?
No. Yeah.
spit outside. Well, we'll see. We'll get on it. But thankfully, you're going to give it a go here for the Colombia Cast.
Sure, yeah.
So I know you have to get your stuff together. So you can do all that. I'm going to sign off with all my usual. Well, by the way, Katie James. That's how people will find you on Instagram.
Katie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Katie James. So that is it for this episode. Until we have, I'll let you say the name again because I hate saying it.
Toitico bien empacao.
That's what we're going to sign off with for the first time ever with a song. But if you do want to get in touch with us here, with me specifically, my Twitter handle is at @WayCorrigan, or you can find my blog page, Wrong Way Corrigan blog on Facebook, that is. But until the next time, ciao ciao, and we're going to hear Katie James with I will try to Toitico bien empacao.
Yay.
Excellent. Okay. Until the next time, guys.
¿Qué tal su café? ¿Cómo estuvo su agua y panela? Qué buenas arepas las que prepara doña Rubiela. ¿Qué tal el ajiaco con el frío de la mañana? Y el sabor de la papa que traje fresquita y en la sabana. Discúlpeme si interrumpo su desayuno. Va a salir de las dudas, es el momento más oportuno. Dígame usted si conoce la molienda o el azúcar es solo una bolsa que le compran en la tienda. Y cuénteme qué sabe de su tierra, cuénteme qué sabe de su abuela, cuénteme qué sabe del maíz, o acaso ha olvidado sus antepasados y su raíz. Dibújeme el árbol del cacao mientras se toma ese chocolate con pan tostado. Dígame su merced que sabe del asadón, ese es el que le trae a usted la sopita hasta el cucharón. Y cuénteme qué sabe de su tierra, cuénteme qué sabe de su abuela, cuénteme qué sabe del maíz, o acaso ha olvidado sus antepasados y su raíz. Le cuento los cuentos del huerto y de la malanga, la yuca, la yota, los chontaduros, la quinoa, las habas y la guatila. Le tengo el guandú, las arracachas y la calabaza. Le traigo guineos, también chachafrutos y unas papitas en la mochila. Ay, perdón, señor, por ser yo tan imprudente. Es que a veces me llegan estos pensamientos irreverentes. ¿Pa' qué va usted querer saber sobre el arao? Si allí en la esquina lo encuentra Toitico bien empacao.